What's up? How's it going?
Puerto Rico's sun is shining, our birds are singing. Life is good. Thanks for asking.
Not bad.
Yeah, man.
Uh, this is really cool. A cool bonus. I'm just happy that I was able to make this work. This is awesome.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the props on the bonus, and I'm excited to chat. I have your bio and proposed questions right in front of me, but I'd love to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Give me a quick update about where you're at right now and any things you're going on with KBB, and then we'll dive into the Q&A.
Yeah, I right now you know, basically I went on my own about a year and a half ago, and then pretty much more full on since October, uh, in a marketing capacity, being a marketing coach for entrepreneurs. And after doing, 17 years at ad agencies, decided to go on my own and basically do brand strategy and basically working with businesses to help them figure out how to implement marketing in their business. And with that, I've been building my own brand, networking, and started, like writing and podcasting and all that. So uh, that's like I'm happy with how the content's been coming out, but it's still new to me in terms of like having to hunt for myself and meet new people and establish a reputation and uh, like bring people into my world is still very new to me. So that's kind of where I am in my business, if you will.
Yeah, I get it. And let me just be completely frank with you, is that's everybody's biggest struggle is the lead generation is, after you lock down one, getting the next one lined up and just that process. I mean, that's why, the strong survive and the weak go back to the agencies and, have to get back on that salary.
I
So
get it.
that's the process. So what do you really want to pick my brain about today?
I think what I respect a lot is that you, beyond like building a platform and content and having a perspective and opinion, you've managed to build products and services that really resonate with your community. And I just like I want to be doing the same thing. I launched, I tried to launch a coaching product for the first time in June, and I bombed. Just, whether it was the price point or I just am a terrible salesperson and didn't convince them enough of the value. Just trying to develop products like
Typically, neither of those are ever the reason. Typically, the reason is because you haven't built up an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you enough that's going to take it on a, decent percentage level. And that decent percentage means 10%. I mean, that's on a high level, somewhere between 5 to 10%. So, for me, like I have millions of listens, per month for my podcast, and I go, and promote Tony Robbins' course, and I crushed it. I did 278 sales, came in 7th place, and I'll be hanging out with Tony Robbins in Fiji in a month and a half as a result, which is awesome. But 278, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's $278,000. I'm not complaining, but the fact is my audience is massive, and I only converted 278 people to a course that I pushed really hard and that I really believed in, that comes from a really big name. So it's not easy. It's not easy to have, first off, to build a big audience, and then number two, to get them to a place where a certain percentage of them are actually filtering down into actual sales. So that's where it comes to you to say, what is the unique, special niche that I'm going to stand for, that I'm going to be best in show on? Like, I'm going to be the person that is just known for this thing. Then I'm going to start putting out consistent, valuable content around that one tiny niche topic that I'm actually absolutely just going to become the person for. And then I'm going to create the best solution to the biggest struggle that people in that niche have, that I've been putting out content around, building an audience around, to make my first initial sales. And then you start to say, okay, now I've got my feet wet because I've been creating great content consistently around a very niche topic. I've built an audience around it. I've offered that audience a real solution to a real struggle they have. A certain percentage, 5 to 10% of them, actually invested in it. So now I'm seeing how this works. Now, how do I amplify this and take it to the next level by going on a podcast roadshow, by being which means being a guest on a lot of podcasts, or writing a book about the topic, or, doing, starting to really double down on Facebook and Instagram and influencer ads and things along those lines. Because once you have something that starts to work in a niche, then you just really find ways to expose it and amplify it.
Yeah, and I realize it's like there's the long game, which is going to be, like doing the content over time, making this audience get bigger and bigger and generating discovery. But I'm like in the
But the
short
long
term,
game, the long game only works, Brandon, if you're building the right audience
right?
around a very specific topic. Because it's
Yeah,
2019 right now. Like, it's not 2012,
yeah,
14, 16. It's 2019, and it's a great time to be in this game right now. Like, in 2030, we're going to be like, oh my God, you remember how easy it was back then? Like, it's just going to get tougher over the years. So it's a great time to be in the game right now. But, like, what is your thing?
right.
What
Well,
is it?
can we dive into that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I want to dive into.
And I've definitely struggled with this because for me, my thing for forever was brand strategy, and it was like, which literally is helping the biggest companies out there figure out how to spend their marketing dollars, like from top to bottom, consumer insight to, efficiencies of media, and like
Mm.
literally allocating budget for the largest brands out there in the country. And now I'm trying to figure out how to do that for entrepreneurs, but I'm not a specialist. I'm not a Facebook ad specialist. I'm not an Instagram specialist. And I also don't have an industry that I focus in. I'm not like the restaurant marketing guy. I'm not like
Yeah.
so I've tried to figure out, like right now I keep getting, what I head towards has been, there's maybe a place in a customer's journey or an entrepreneur's journey where I tend to fit in, which is you've operated your business. You're now just thinking about marketing for the first time and getting your system straight. You might have run a couple of Facebook ads, but you have no strategy. You don't know how to hire someone to run Facebook ads because you don't know what inputs to give them. You don't know how to build a proper website or revise your website because you don't know the strategy behind making a website work. So I'm getting into
I
this
mean,
point of
I
like,
think that is a niche. That let's talk about it for a second, because
please,
I think you are getting somewhere with that. Is your first marketing strategy. Like, that's what I'm hearing from you right now is, and I think you're nailing it, is that there's a lot of people out there that are getting some traction, like the thing that they're doing, essential oils, or yoga, veganism, and all these, like they're getting some traction around that thing. And they're like, how do I take it to the next level? Well, this is your first marketing strategy. And I think that, like, that is a place that you could really kind of say, okay, how can I now find people that are at that point, that they're looking for that, that they've gotten proof of concepts, they've generated some revenue off of that proof of concept. They've actually sold some things, some products, some services, whatever that might be. And now they're just like, okay, how do I get my first marketing strategy going? So I feel like you've got something there. I just feel like we need to refine
yeah.
that right there. But that's something.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's the first time I've heard the word first because
Yeah.
I kept coming up with the language I kept coming to was before you hire a Facebook ads expert, before you hire a web developer, before
I
you
mean, because just
hire,
just just think about the headline. You're seeing it like on an ebook, or even like, on a podcast title, when you're going to, and this is such a great pitch for a topic as well to be on a guest, is like, hey, your first marketing strategy. Just like, are you familiar at all with Frank Kern?
yeah, I've heard the name. I haven't read the books.
Yeah, so he's just old school marketing guy. But long story short, I was helping him launch his first podcast, and he doesn't want to deal with people that haven't made $1 million yet. That's just where he is right now. He's looking for people that have made $1 million but are going for their next million. So what's the name of his podcast? Your Next Million. So right away, people look at it, they're like, whoa, that's not for me because I'm not a millionaire yet. But people that see it and they're like, I made $1 million, but I'm stuck there. A couple million, I'm looking to take it to the next level. Boom, that's it. Just like in this way for you, it's just like, hey, like, you're not looking to hire this huge agency because you have like a $30,000 a month budget right now to do this. Like, this is your first marketing strategy, and like that's like something that I really feel like you could just get behind, and have like the course, the certification, where you're actually now being able to have people go through a certification that they're being trained by you, that are then going out and helping other people with their first marketing strategy, kind of like the Michael Michalowicz model of profit first, where he now is, people are just getting trained as as CPAs under the profit first mentality than going out and helping people individually, because you can only help so many people one-on-one. But now if you can create the training that trains the people to go out after you've proven the concept, that's where it starts to get bigger and starts to go scale and leverage. And like, that's the process where, oh, now while we have, the Brandon Berkmeyer, your first marketing, strategy certification, that's proof, like, that's credibility for those people because they have it. Boom, the stamp.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love where this is going because I could definitely lean into a lot of the time it's not like they're ready to hire someone. They have someone that can do some work around the office. And it's a lot of what I'm doing is training them. Okay, how do you either train someone you have to do the work, or how do you outsource project by project? You need a new website built. Here's how you hire someone correctly and give them the right inputs to get the right output instead of letting your IT guy do it. So it's like piece by piece. It's like you're building your own marketing team, like from the ground up internally. So that eventually when you're ready to hire an agency, you can, but you've got to build it internally first. And it's a lot of time I'm training the owners, I'm training their, like that one person, that manager that's got a little bit of time to help do it for the first time. So
yeah. And there's a lot of ways that, number one, you can be that person that is doing that one-on-one for, obviously a premium price point, but at the same time, for the masses, there's the course. And then, for the other revenue stream that we've talked about is the certification. And then it just kind of keeps growing from there. So now, like, you're having all these different paths that people can go down. And, once you crush it for somebody, they're like, whoa, this really works. Like, what's that next level? And that's where you keep growing out.
Yeah, I'm doing some one-on-one coaching right now, like 6-week coaching, like literally one-on-one, in person or virtual, to kind of get proof of concept for like what I teach in those 6 weeks.
It's a mandatory step in the process. You got to do that.
So I'm just getting started with that, which I think is why I had trouble selling also, other than the focus is I hadn't run a full 6 weeks with someone just as a beta. I just was trying to sell it and do it.
And this is something you're obviously probably learning and going through right now, but let me just be very clear that some of the most important things during that process is you listening to the exact words these people are using, not just like the overall themes, the words, because then you take their words and that becomes your marketing. Like, the things that they say it for a reason. And when they then see it on a marketing material, they're just like, yes, that's what I need. Like, they need to see their words. So like everything you see for Podcasters Paradise and our podcast, everything like on that of like creating, growing, and monetizing your podcast, like all that we have for our bullet points is all like sentences that I've just ripped out of people's mouths and slapped on my sales page because it's their vocabulary that sells.
Right. No, I love that. Thank you. And what's great is it's funny is I discovered you through Travis Chappell. I believe you're familiar with.
Yeah, he's been in my home here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and usually I imagine people discover it the other way around, like they hear
That's
about
true.
you and they
That
find
is true.
him.
I'll have to let him know.
Yeah, we talk. I think he coached me. I took a 6-week coaching program for podcasting and relaunched my podcast in May. I've been in the new Noteworthy for Business called Brands on Brands. Thanks. And so that's been going well. He's an awesome coach.
Where'd you hear about him? Just curious.
I literally on iTunes was looking up like networking. Like, I need to be a better networker, and I found his podcast.
I helped him name that podcast for that very reason. I said, Travis, people are going to go to iTunes. They're going to search for specific keywords. Wow. That happened right in my living room right there, by the way.
Yeah, there's 2 podcasts I found. The first thing I got familiar with was like The Art of Charm, when Jordan Harbinger was still doing it. Because I was like, how do you become more, like, oh, charming, that makes sense. And then the second was networking. And those are the 2 guys. And like, cool. Then we just kind of connected, and I was in Thailand with him and was at Thrive with him recently. He's a big part of that. And then, I saw this, I was like, I've got to meet JLD. So I got this, and we got this, I think we have the interview session following in a few days too. You got like a 15-minute interview.
Friday.
So I'm going to try to use some of that on the show for sure.
Do it, brother. That would be great.
Yeah, and then and I imagine the best thing to talk to you about is podcasting and that whole world.
Yeah, but I would try to bring in, some different unique spins on that, but not to kind of go down that rabbit hole now. Let's bring it back because I really do feel like, you need to have that thing that you're hanging your hat on. And again, something that you can go to, different podcast hosts with a nice pitch and saying
Right.
like, hey, like, like your last 10 episodes have been about A, B, C, D, and E. Like this great, I specifically love this last episode where you talked about this. By the way, this is what I, love talking about. This is my area of expertise is, talking people through their very first marketing strategy. Here's the key bullet points that we'll go through. I've been featured on these podcasts, talking about this. And by the way, I'm a podcaster, brands on brands on brands. So I know the importance that when this goes live, that to share it with my audience. So I'll make sure that I make that happen. And by the way, I feel like, and if this is true, you finished with, by the way, I feel like you might be a good guest for my show to talk about some things that you're an expert in. So let's have this kind of commingling. Maybe we schedule it back to back and save us all some time, and you'll start getting a big hit rate. And you should be on at least 5 podcasts per month with that message. Period.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's exactly what he said. And I was like, how do I get on podcasts? Like, what do
That's
I?
how you get on podcasts.
Yeah.
You literally go to Apple Podcasts, you click on the business tab, you look at the top 200 podcasts, you click on the logo. Under the logo on the main page, you're going to see the word website. Click on the word website. It's going to take you to their actual website. Click on the contact form. Go back to the actual podcast page, and you're going to be able to do what I just told you about the last couple episodes. I like that episode specifically. You haven't talked about this topic. I think you should. And I'm glad you're recording this too. You can kind of go back and like go through this a little bit because it is, I'm speaking a mile a minute to make the most of this.
I appreciate it.
And also, be very key about that point is that, hey, I'm a podcaster. Like, I get it. I know how important it is that once this episode goes live to share it with other people and make that happen. And like, again, your goal should be 5 per month, and then there should be months you hit 10.
Yeah. And I'll
just keep saying this to yourself.
Exactly.
Podcast listeners listen to podcasts. So every time you're on a show and you're dropping value, number one, the spotlight's on you, which is important because that's when you're a guest, you get to share all the value, and then you can give your call to action back to your podcast. And also a dual call to action. Check my podcast, Brands on Brands on Brands. Also, by the way, I get a free gift for everybody. If you want to figure out what your first marketing strategy is, go to my website.com and you can download it there for free.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate the focus because I kept coming to, I can help you build brands that matter, to today's consumer. And it was like still kind of vague.
Broad, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is just clear. This is like the people that see that are going to be like, I don't have a marketing strategy. I need my first marketing strategy.
Yeah. It's funny. It's been sitting right there because I bring on marketing experts and entrepreneurs, and the experts tell me like their specific expertise, and the entrepreneurs like, here's how I built a brand in reality. And the experts, I'm always like, if you just had to break it down, a core lesson for people just getting started, like what would you do? Like what are the few things that they could do for Instagram, for Facebook,
oh man,
it's been right there. Yeah. Which is why we can surround ourselves by people who are outside of the trees.
Boom, brother.
Yeah.
Listen, we got a good call on Friday, so we'll make the most of those 15 minutes. It'll be a blast. Next time you talk to Travis, give him a big hello.
I will.
And, it was good connecting.
Thanks, John.
Take care, brother.
Appreciate it.